Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome, man. Welcome to Beyond Classic Rock. Today, we are going to be doing a quad featuring the music of the Talking Heads, man. And we're going to start with Artists Only, followed by Life During Wartime, followed by Houses in Motion, and finally, Swamp. So, man, before I pop this off, I just want to first give a shout out and a thanks very much to Jeffrey Davis. Jeffrey, thank you, man. Thank you very much for the recommendation and also providing links. Talking Heads is a great band, and they've got so much depth to them, so much history. You know, they got their classic rock 70s sound. One or two of their songs is on the Classic Rock platform I did reactions for, and of course on this platform. There's been one already, and I know that another one is coming after this one. So lots of Talking Heads on this platform, man. All right, let us start with Artists Only. Talking Heads, Artists Only. Let's get it. Wonderfully goofy. I can just visualize him doing antics and movements. Okay, man. Artists Only. Talking Heads. Man, these dudes, especially David Byrne, so much fun to listen to. Even if you're not seeing them, just listening to him is fun as hell. You can still visualize him doing his antics, man. What an entertainer. Let's do a little background, man, on Artist Only. See what we can learn about this. Artist Only. Okay. Yeah, it's more album information rather than specific song information. Quite a lot of information on the album, though. Okay, let's check it out, man. So, Artist Only. Artist Only appears on more songs about buildings and foods. It's the second studio album by American rock band Talking Heads, released July 14, 1978 by Sire Records. It was the first of 3 albums produced by collaborator Brian Eno, and saw the band move toward a danceable style, crossing singer David Byrne's unusual delivery with new emphasis on the rhythm section, composed of bassist Tina Weymouth and drummer Chris France. The album established the Talking Heads as a critical success, reaching number 29 on the US Billboard Pop Albums chart and number 21 on the UK Albums chart. The album featured the band's first top 30 single, a cover of Al Green's Take Me to the River. Yeah, that's the song I did a reaction to. Concerning the album's title, bassist Tina Weymouth was quoted in a 1979 interview with Cream magazine, quote, "When we were making this album, I remembered this stupid discussion we had about titles for the last album." Tina smirked. "At that time, I said, what are we going to call an album that's just about buildings and food?" And Chris said, "You call it More Songs About Buildings and Food," unquote. XTC frontman Andy Partridge later claimed, however, that he gave the title to David Byrne. I wonder what the truth is there. Album reception. Writing for Christgau's record guide, Rock Albums of the 70s in '81, critic Robert Christgau said, quote, "Here the Heads become a quintet in an ideal producer-artist collaboration. Eno contributes interferes just enough. Not only does his synthesized lyricism provide flow and continuity, it also makes the passive, unpretentious, technological mysticism he shares with the band real in oral world. In fact, here is so much beautiful music and so much funky music on this album that I'll take no more complaints about David Byrne's voice. Every one of these 11 songs is a positive pleasure, and on every one, that tension between Byrne's compulsive flights and the sinuous rock bottom of the music is the focus," unquote. Damn, yo. Holy. A good review from Christgau. Holy cow. See, you actually don't have to be Bruce Springsteen to get a good review out of this guy. Holy cow. Very, very, very few good reviews from this lad, man. And I've been doing this thing for 2 years and been reading all about this guy, and he doesn't give too many good reviews, that's for sure. All right, so oh Lord, Rolling Stone. Let's see what they got to say. Reviewing the album for Rolling Stone magazine, Ken Emerson said, quote, "Love and work, of course, is what Freud said all of us need. But on More Songs About Buildings and Food, Byrne appears able to imagine the proper equilibrium only in Found a Job, wherein a bickering couple's relationship improves while collaborating on television scripts. He sings about the improvement and considerable sarcasm, though and elsewhere on the LP, Love and Logic are at loggerheads," unquote. Okay, and another good review from Rolling Stone. Holy cow. Hell has frozen over and donkeys can fly. Look at that. Oh man, I'm gonna have to take back all the shit I said about these two guys. No, I ain't taking back nothing. All right. So let us check out our next track, man. That is Life During Wartime. All right. Talking Heads, Life During Wartime. Let's get it. Oh, nice. That's live footage.
Somebody see you up there. I got some groceries, some peanut butter to last a couple of days. But I ain't got no speakers, ain't got no headphones, ain't got no records to play. Why stay in college? Why go to night school? Don't have no different this time. Can't write a letter, can't send no postcard. I can't write nothing at all. This ain't no party, this ain't no disco, this ain't no fooling around. I'll never hold you, I'll never kiss you, but I ain't got time for that now. Trouble in transit, got through the whole
12 feet away from these
we
guys.
blended in with the crowd. We got computers, we're tapping phone lines. Know that that ain't allowed. We dress like students, we dress like housewives, or in a suit and a tie. Changed my hairstyle so many times now. What I look like? You make me shiver, I feel so tender. We make a pretty good team. Don't get exhausted, I'll do some driving. You wanna get you some sleep. And all my notebooks, oh my God, notebooks, they won't help me survive. My test
cover as many miles as Mick Jagger if he's not careful here. Beautiful. Very good.
Does anybody have any questions?
No questions at all, bro. Can you keep doing what you're doing? That's the only question. Man, by the end of their tour or whatever jam sequence that they're doing, they got to be in some hella good shape, man. Excellent. That was entertaining as hell. Fantastic. A good evening out, I'll call that. Talking Heads, man. Has there been any other band like them? They're very, very unique. Not just in their sound, but in their stage presence as well. Alright, man. So, Life During Wartime. Life During Wartime is a song by American new wave band Talking Heads, released as the first single from their 1979 album Fear of Music. It peaked at number 80 on the US Billboard Pop Singles chart. The song is also performed in the 1984 film Stop Making Sense, which depicts a Talking Heads concert. The performance featured in the film prominently features aerobic exercising and jogging by David Byrne and background singers. The Stop Making Sense live version of the track is featured in the film's accompanying soundtrack album. Its official title as a single, Life During Wartime, This Ain't No Party, This Ain't No Disco, This Ain't No Foolin' Around, makes it one of the longest titled singles. Well, geez man, what's the longest? That's what I want to know. The song is included in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's 500 songs that shaped rock and roll. Origin. In David Bowman's book, This Must Be the Place, The Adventures of Talking Heads in the 20th Century, Byrne is quoted as describing the genesis of the song. Quote, David wrote 9 of the album's 11 tracks. 2 numbers came out of jamming. The first would be called Life During Wartime. David's lyrics describe a Walker Percy-ish post-apocalyptic landscape where a revolutionary hides out in a deserted cemetery, surviving on peanut butter. I wrote this in my loft on 7th and Avenue A, David later said. I was thinking about Bader Meinhof, Patsy Hearst, Tompkins Square. This is a song about living in Alphabet City. AllMusic's Bill Yanowitz reviewed the song, calling attention to its nearness of funk, saying that it is a sort of apocalyptic punk-funk merge, comparable to Prince's later hit single, 1999. In 2012, The New Yorker described Life During Wartime as an apocalyptic swamp funk transmission in 4/4 time, adding it is the band's pinnacle and the song is still a hell of a thing to hear. Unquote. Lyrics. The lyrics are told from the point of view of someone involved in clandestine activities in the U.S. The cities Houston, Detroit, and Pittsburgh are mentioned during some sort of civil unrest or dystopian environment. The line, This Ain't No Mud Club or CBGB, refers to 2 New York music venues at which the band performed in the 1970s. The line, This Ain't No Disco, sure stuck, remarks Byrne in the liner notes of Once in a Lifetime, the best of the Talking Heads. Remember when they would build bonfires of Donna Summer records? Well, we liked some disco music. It's called dance music now. Some of it was radical, camp, silly, transcendent, and disposable. So it was funny that we were sometimes seen as the flag bearers of the anti-disco movement. Unquote. Interesting. Yeah, man. Even I'll admit that disco really peaked, and at its peak it got really saturated, really over the top, a touch on the ridiculous side. It had to plateau and decline a little bit. Yeah, so we're looking at when was its peak? 75, 76. All right, man, let's check out our next track, that being Houses in Motion. The Talking Heads, Houses in Motion. Let's get it.
For a long time I felt without style or grace, wearing shoes with no socks in cold weather. I knew my heart was in the right place. I knew I'd be able to do these things. As we watch him digging his own grave, it was important to know that was where he's at. Can't afford to stop. That is what he believed. He'll keep on digging for 1,000 years. I'm walking along. I'm thinking about taking motion. I'm walking along. Just barely enough to be living. Get out of the way. No time to begin. This isn't the time. So nothing was done. Not talking about nothing at all. Not turning around. No trouble at all. You notice there's nothing around you, around you. I'm walking along. Keep finding me song. Never get to say much. Never get to talk. Tell us a little bit, but not too much. Right about then, it's where she give up. She has closed her eyes. She has give up hope. I'm walking along. I hate to be dreaming in motion. I'm walking along. Just barely enough to be living. Get out of the way. No time to begin. This isn't the time. So nothing was done. Not talking about not many at all. I'm turning around. No trouble at all. I'm keeping my fingers behind me, behind me. I'm walking along. Keep finding me some.
I think this song is dealing with the idea of there being a very thin line between life and death, how fragile it is.
I'm walking along. I'm visiting houses in motion. I'm walking along. Just barely enough to be living. Get out of the way. No time to begin. This isn't the time. So nothing was done. Not talking about not many at all. I'm turning around. No trouble at all. Two different houses around you, around you. I'm walking along. Keep finding me some.
A great dance track, I'm sure it was. Probably charted very high in the dance charts. Good one. Houses in motion. Houses representing the collective oneness of the person. So not so much people in motion, but houses in motion. I get it. Good track, good tune. Good beat, definitely a great dance track, man. Houses in Motion. Houses in Motion is the second and final single from Remain in Light, the fourth studio album by American new wave band Talking Heads. An alternative mix of the song was released in vinyl form on the 5th of May in '81 and peaked at number 50 on the UK singles chart. Recording and style. Talking Heads frontman and chief lyricist David Byrne remixed the song created with Remain in Light producer Brian Eno at Compass Point Studios in the Bahamas in the summer of 1980. Houses in Motion features brass performances by John Hazel. The B-side, Air, is from the band's third studio album Fear of Music. The cover artwork is by designer Tommy Robleski. Live performance. Talking Heads regularly performed the song live from August of 1980 to December of '83. A recording from November of 1980 at the Emerald City Club in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, was included on their 1982 live album. The name of this band is Talking Heads. Okay. Oh, and then a good portion here for album accolades. Remain in Light was named the best album of 1980 by Sounds, ahead of The Skids, The Absolute Game, and by Melody Maker in '76 and '77, while the New York Times included it in its unnumbered shortlist of the 10 best records issued that year. It figured highly in other end-of-year best albums lists, notably at number 2 behind The Clash's London Calling by Robert Christgau, that's in '79, and at number 6 by NME in 1980. It featured at number 3 behind London Calling and Bruce Springsteen's The River in the Village Voices 1980 Pass and Job Critics Poll, which aggregates the votes of hundreds of prominent reviewers. There's a quote here, quote, "So they congregated in the Nassau studio with Brian Eno and created a record without precedent, both daringly experimental and pop accessible. Remain in Light may be the Talking Heads' defining moment," unquote. Pitchfork Media's Ryan Screeber in 2002. In 1989, Rolling Stone named Remain in Light as the 4th best album of the decade in '83. In 1993, it was included at number 11 in NME's list of the 50 greatest albums of the 1980s and at number 68 in the publication's greatest albums of all times list. Wow. Some really excellent accolades for this album, man. Excellent. So, let's check out our final track, man, and that is Swamp. All right. Talking Heads, Swamp. Let's get it.
Tell you a story. The devil, he has a plan. A bag of bones in his pocket. Get anything you want. No dust, no rocks. The whole thing is over. All those beauties in solid motion. those beauties gonna swallow you up. Let's go. One time, too many, too far to go. I come to take you home. And when they split those atoms, it's hotter than the sun. Blood is a special substance, and they're gonna pray for that man. So wake up, young lovers, the whole thing is over. Watch out, touch monkeys, all that blood gonna swallow you whole. Let's go. What's that? Who's driving? Where we going? Who knows? We're gonna take you home. How many people do you think I am? Pretend I am somebody else. You can pretend I'm a millionaire, washing his hands. Rattle the bones, the dreams that stick out, a medical chart on the wall. Soft violins, hands touch your throat. Everyone wants to explode. Now when your hands get dirty, nobody knows you at all. Don't have a window to slip out of. Lights on, nobody home. Click, click. See you later. Beat it, beat it. No time to rest. Pick up, a risky business. All that blood will never cover that mess. Let's go.
It's not about Dylan, but he definitely tells some interesting stories in his songs.
Hard feelings, no tricks. Let's go. We come to take you home.
I forgot that this song existed, man. And I didn't know who sang it. And I didn't recognize it until the high parts, man. Wow. It's cool doing these reactions and you kind of go back in time and then you reconnect to, something you heard when you were younger or whatever. Yeah, that's really cool. I've heard this before, man. Swamp, it's called. All right. So entertaining, man. As you're listening to them, you can visualize what David Byrne is doing. They're slightly crazy lead singer. He's wonderfully strange. Swamp. So this too is more album info than song info. And again, yeah, some decent information here for the album. So, Swamp appears on Speaking in Tongues. It's the fifth studio album by American rock band Talking Heads, released June 1st, 1983 by Sire Records. After their split with producer Brian Eno and a short hiatus, which allowed the individual members to pursue side projects, recording began in '82. It became the band's commercial breakthrough and produced the band's sole US top 10 hit, Burning Down the House. The album's tour was documented in Jonathan Demme's 1984 film Stop Making Sense, which generated a live album of the same name. The album also crossed over to the dance charts, where it peaked at number 2 for 6 weeks. It's the group's highest charting album on the US Billboard 200. It was also their biggest selling album in Canada, where it was certified platinum in '83. Byrne has said, as a partial explanation of the album's title, "I originally sang nonsense and made words to fit that. That worked out all right," unquote. Okay, yeah, critical reception, let's go down there. Rolling Stone's David Fricke lauded the album's crossover nature, calling it the album that finally obliterates the thin line separating arty white pop music and deep black funk, unquote. He elaborated that the songs are all true art rock, with the complexity and sophistication of the genre, yet avoid art rock's characteristic pretensions, with a laid-back attitude and compelling dance rhythms, making it an ideal party album. In '89, the album was ranked number 54 on Rolling Stone magazine's list of the 100 best albums of the 1980s. In 2012, Slant magazine listed the album at number 89 on its list of the best albums of the 1980s. Reviewing the album for AllMusic, William Ruhlman said, "Talking Heads found a way to open up the dense textures of the music they had developed with Brian Eno on their 2 previous studio albums for Speaking in Tongues, and were rewarded with their most popular album yet." 10 backup singers and musicians accompanied the original quartet, but somehow the sound was more spacious, and the music admitted aspects of gospel, notably in the call and response of Slippery People and John Lee Hooker-style blues on Swamp. As usual, David Byrne determinedly sang and chanted impressionistic, non-linear lyrics, sometimes by mixing and matching cliches. Some of his charming goofiness has returned since the overly serious Remain in Light and Fear of Music, and the accompanying music filled with odd percussive and synthesizer sounds could be unusually light and bouncy. In his book on funk music, Ricky Vincent describes Speaking in Tongues as deeply thumping funk disguised as modern rock, unquote. You gotta almost be a damn poet to be a critic, man, the way some of these guys write all of this stuff. It's like going through a maze, you know, hopefully that you're gonna get out on the other end of it. Hey, so that is Wikipedia Song Fact Info on this excellent quad, man. How did he describe him? Wonderfully, oh man, where was it? Yeah, charming goofiness. Charming goofiness. That's a really, really good way to describe David Byrne. How cool is that to have a frontman like that as your lead singer and as the face of your group, man? Really cool. All right. So that concludes our look at the Talking Heads, and I know that we got another Talking Heads reaction in the chute. I can't remember if it's an exclusive or if it's a quad or a single, back to back, whatever the case. But I know that the Talking Heads is, I think it's a couple of weeks away. I'm pretty sure. So what's coming up pretty soon on this platform, man? I'm gonna get busy this weekend, so I don't know how much stuff on this platform I'll be able to get to. But I got quads coming up for Luke, John, Rhymes with Teeth, Michael, the Voidzers, Devoid Zero, sorry, and Amy. And I've also got some REM coming up, I know that. Got a little Motown. Yeah, Luke's quad is a tool quad. And I know that there's another tool of some sort after that. And yeah, there's just a whole bunch of stuff coming up, man. This platform is just taking you from one direction, one genre to another, one sound to another sound. You know, progressive metal one day, something else the next day. Speaking of progressive metal, I've been asked to re-upload, you know, a couple of tunes that I had reacted to on the classic rock platform. It was received well, but you still had a couple of people, you know, belly aching about it not being classic rock. So I'm gonna re-upload a couple of those on this platform. And what else am I gonna do? Yeah, and I got some re-uploads to do on the classic rock platform as well. There's been some calls for that. But sticking with this platform, I'm looking forward to a couple of things coming up. I know that there's a Bee Gees, I believe it's a triple shot, and a touch of disco, and there was, yeah, I mentioned REM, and I lost it. I can't remember what else, but there's a lot coming up, needless to say. So anyways, hey, this was excellent, Jeffrey. Thank you very much. I appreciate you sending me this quad, and thank you very much for the discretion of using this platform rather than the classic rock platform. It would just turn into a pissing contest. I know that they came up in the time of the 70s, that they fit the timeline era, but you know that they would be giving us some issues if we were trying to pass this on as classic rock, especially the way that some people have been acting towards Santana. So thank you very much for your discretion in using this platform. Anyways, man, that's my reaction, folks. Hope you enjoyed this this quad, and I'll definitely hop on some more quads after the weekend. So take care, have a good one, and I'll see you later. Peace.